Hey y'all! Okay, so let's get into lesson 1 of adding and subtracting fractions. Hope y'all are having a great day. Before we get into our lesson, let's go over our lesson objective. So our lesson objective for today is we will add fractions with the same denominator. Okay? All right, so let's go into our vocabulary. So our first vocabulary word, it's kind of a little bit of a review, is addition. So addition is combining two or more numbers to get a total. So we're combining two numbers. So in this example, we have 5 apples and then we have 4 apples. We are combining them together to get 9 apples, right? Okay, so that is addition, combining two or more numbers to get a total. Fantastic. All right, so now let's go into what is a sum. So a sum has to do with addition, and it is the total of two or more numbers added together. So in this case, we are adding 3 and 7, and our sum, our total is 10. So if we take 3 of something and then we take 7 of something, we put them together, we're going to get 10. That's our sum. Fantastic. All right. Now, fractions. We've been talking this for a little while, and fractions is a number that shows a part of a whole or part of a set. So in this case, our fraction is we have our whole right here, and we divide it into 4 equal pieces, right? And then we have, which is representing of 3, we have 3 of them. So our fraction is 3/4. So we have a whole, we cut it up into 4 pieces, and then we took 3 of them. Or if we have a set, like in these dots right here, we have 4 dots, and then we're taking 3 of those dots. So our fraction again is 3/4. All right. Now, when we look a little bit deeper into fractions, we want to figure out what is a denominator. We heard this a couple of times. So the denominator is the bottom number, really important. It's the bottom number of a fraction that shows the number of equal parts in one whole. So in this case, we have a circle, and our denominator is 4, which means that I am taking my whole and I'm cutting it into 4 equal pieces. That's what our denominator is telling us, and it's always going to be on the bottom. Our denominator is always going to be on the bottom. It's going to tell us how many pieces we're cutting our whole into. All right. Numerator. So a numerator is the number on top of a fraction that shows how many parts of the whole there are. So our denominator is telling us how many pieces our whole is cut into, but our numerator is telling us how many parts of the whole there are, how many we're taking. So in this case, we have our shaded number right here. That's going to represent how many we're taking. So if this was a pizza and I cut it into 4 equal parts, I'm going to go ahead and eat 3 of them. So that's what our numerator is telling us, that we took 3 of those 4 pieces. All right, great. So I think that's all of our vocabulary for this lesson. So now let's get into our actual lesson. And let's talk about how do we add fractions. So when we are adding fractions with common denominators, what we're going to do is we have this right here. We have our 2 fractions. We have 3/6 and 1/6. So what this is telling us, our whole is cut into 6 equal pieces, right? So let's go ahead and figure that out. So I have a whole right here at the bottom, and I cut into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pieces. Great. So we have our whole, right? And what it's telling us, okay, I have 3/6. So I have 3 of those pieces. So let's go ahead and shade that in. So I have 1, oh, sorry. Let me get my pen working. There we go. So I have 1/6, 2/6, and 3/6 right there, right? So I'm going to go ahead and put that in right here. So I have 3/6. Great. And that was telling me, okay, I'm going to go ahead and add one more 6. So if I had, like, let's pretend this is a cake. I went ahead and I took 3 of those pieces. I want one more. So I'm going to add one more to the pieces I'm going to take. So let's go ahead and add 1/6. So let's go ahead and add in one more. And let's color that in, right? So this is our 1/6. So then all together, let's figure out how much we're going to count. Because if we're adding, we got to figure out how much we have all together because we're combining them together. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. Right? So that's what we have right there. So I know that 3/6 plus 1/6 equals 4/6. So that's our answer. All right, let's go ahead and do one more. So our next one is going to be a little bit more tricky, but it's the same concept. We're going to add fractions together. So we're going to put some fractions together. So in our first one, we have 7/8. So let's go ahead and take our whole and let's go ahead and add in 7/8. So I have 1/8. I want to take 1. I want to take 2/8, 3/8, 4/8, 5/8, 6/8, 7/8, right? So I'm going to go ahead and shade that in. So all of this is 7. Oops, sorry. Let me go ahead and fix that just a little bit so it's not too confusing. All right. So this is 7/8, right? Now I want to go ahead and let's say again, this is a cake, right? And I cut that cake into 8 pieces. I want 7 of those pieces. But you know what? I changed my mind. I actually want to add 3 more pieces to that. So let's go ahead and add 3 more pieces. So let's go over here. I have 1/8. Now I am out of 8s, right? I took that whole cake. So let me go to another cake and get my other 2 pieces. So I have 1/8 there. 2/8, 3/8. So I have 3/8. Let me see how I'm going to write this. 3/8 over here and over here and here. So those are my 3/8, right? Okay, so now we got to figure out, because we're doing addition, we got to figure out how many 8s I have all together, right? So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 8s. So I have 10 8s all together, right? Because what happened was I took a cake and I cut it into 8 equal pieces and I wanted 7 of them. But then I changed my mind and I said, oh, okay, I want 3 more pieces of cake. So I took 1 more, that filled up a whole cake, and then I took 2 more pieces. So all together I have 10 pieces of cake that were cut into 8s. So I have 10 8s of cake. Another way that I can go ahead and write this, which is the same thing, if you notice here, I took 1 whole cake, right? I took 1 whole cake, and then I also took another 2 more pieces of cake. So I took 2 more pieces of cake that were cut into 8s. So that's 2 different ways that I can write my fractions. Okay, fantastic. So now let's go ahead and see if we met our lesson objective. So today we added fractions with the same denominator, and it looks like we did do that. So great. So make sure you do your must do, and then if you have time, do your should do and your aspire to, and come see me when you're ready for exit ticket. Great. Have a great day. Bye, guys.